you've said with Petey at times when you've changed line mates that you need to find guys who can get on the puck. You want him to have the puck more. Is Lindholm a guy who's going to get Petey the puck more?
I think he's a guy that holds on to pucks and can make a play under pressure. But to be all the great lines, they forecheck really well. If you look at Connor McDavid, who's one of the best, could be the best player in the league. He's one of the best forecheckers in the league. You can't, Peter's got to get the puck too. I mean, I'm not just saying it's just our wingers got to go. It's a joint venture. But having a guy like Lindholm that likes to forecheck, but also going to make a play under pressure, I think is going to help a lot of our players.
I know it's just one practice, but in your mind's eye, having Lindholm with Pettersson, does that open up different options for you from a matchup perspective?
Yeah, for sure, 100%. Somebody's going to get the fifth and sixth pair sometimes. Maybe not so much on the road because of the matchup, but if you can get two of those guys or Millsy lines against the 5-6 defensemen, a lot of the times, hopefully they're going to make something happen out there. I love 200-foot players. He's can play all different positions, hybrid, center or wing. Obviously, PK guy, real good PK guy. I think he's over 55% on his draws, and he can play power play. So, I mean, we're just getting a guy that can do a lot of different things for us and gives us a lot of options as coaches.
What do you need to see over the next day and a half to feel good to go on Tuesday?
Well, it's really, you can't, it's not a crash course. I mean, I'm not going to skate the hell out of the guys. I'm not trying to throw these guys a ton of video. You just, we'll probably have a video session tomorrow at the hotel just to get guys back in game mode. But I think it's one step at a time. You just can't do cramming because guys are off for a week. I just don't believe in that.
Do you get the sense that the mental break and the physical break was good for them and everyone got the most out of it?
I knew after the All-Star game, I asked the 5 guys if any of you guys want the option of staying off, and each guy said, "Are you crazy?" So when I heard all 5 guys, or 6 guys wanted to skate, obviously that they mean business.
You've been on a lot of teams, but you've been on teams that made big trades. What's the feeling like for those guys when the organization goes out and makes a move like this and brings in Lindholm?
Well, I think when the trade was made, my phone buzzed. I know Patrick's phone was buzzed from the players. Very excited. So I think right now it's we don't want to change anything different. I think Lindy's just got to come in and just fit in. We don't have to do anything special. I think he's just got to come and do his thing, and we'll get to the system. I don't think he's the type of guy that we're going to have to sit down every day and do systems. He's a system guy. He knows what he's doing.
Does he make you harder to play against? And often when you hear people say that, they think of the physicality. And I guess there's some grit to his game, but just the way he defends and how smart he is, does that make you a tougher team?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he defends with his brain too. I mean, I was watching him, just even in the practice, little subtle things. He's the type of guy that, 3 years ago was on probably the best line in hockey with Gaudreau and Kachuk. So, he's, like I said, he's going to fit in really nicely with our team.
Do you like when you get a guy in midseason who sort of works best offensively away from the puck? Does that make it an easier transition in some ways?
Yeah, I think so, because I think when a guy comes to your team, the first thing you want to do teach him is without the puck, where you got to be, because certain teams have different, whether the strong zone winger plays a little bit more deeper or farther, or as centerman, because he'll play center too. The breakouts we're a little different maybe than Calgary is. So those are the things that for me are more important. The offensive stuff you kind of do later on some of the stuff that we do. So I think he's going to pick up the D zone coverage really well.
When you make, as an organization, a big move like that, and I'm sure it's a bit of a lightning bolt or a sign of the institutional belief in what this team's accomplished at this point, do you look to reinforce that at all as the head coach?
I don't think we really have to. I think just the way we act day to day, players see it. Obviously, they've seen how Patrick and Jim have been aggressive and how they've retooled our team. So they know, I hate to use the word win now, but a team that can compete here for a while. So I don't think it's just a one and done. It's a team that can compete. I think it gets guys excited, and it's also competition. I mean, he comes in. There's competition. There's no guarantees who's playing where right now, and I like that. You have to have that competition, especially the last 30 games.
the potential for versatility if you play Petey with Lindholm, that depending on situations, lefties, righties, maybe one's better in the O zone, maybe one's better in the D zone, but are we going to see sort of situational things with that?
I like situational hockey. I think you have to have situational hockey going forward. There's going to be some matchups coming up here. So if I can have Lindy play low sometimes, if Petey's last guy to come out of the run, that's a hybrid for me. I think Lindholm's a really good centerman, and I got him on the wing, so I don't know if I'm going to keep him on the wing. I got to feel comfortable with myself because I know he's a very good centerman. I know Petey plays well at center. Sometimes I throw him on the wing, so we'll see how that goes. And I'm not even sure if that's the line. I'm just saying right now we're going to try to implement it very slowly and interchangeable parts. Millsy can play the wing sometimes too. You know, we have Suter can play the wing. You know, so we got a lot of different centermen that can play the wing.
Oh, I mean, I know Edmonton is a standard bearer because we've got two of the best players in the world at center. But how much do you like your center depth right now? Really 6 guys now, in sort of the context of what other teams have. Is this an advantage for you?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, that's if you look at the Vancouver Canucks, one of our strengths is our center position. You know, we got to be up there. You know, it's funny. I was with the coaches. I said, you know, how about if I just go, you know, 3, 4, our 4. You know, you got Miller, Pettersson, Lindholm, and say Bluegrass are 4 center. They're like, you know, you can't have 4 centermen like that because then the wings and stuff. So we were playing around with that. You never know, but to have that luxury, sure.
You you use Puzzle Guy regularly. Given the different areas he can contribute on the penalty kill, power play, as you're talking about versatility to be wing, forward, play offense, play matchup.
Sure.
Is he almost like a master key piece in this puzzle?
Well, I mean, I don't want to put a lot of pressure on him, but I don't think if I yell his name to do something, it's not a fish out of water. You know, sometimes you have a player, hey, can you do this and you know play this, and it's not they're a fish out of water. They're not used to it. But I don't want him to be, you know, moved around where the guys bounced around either too. I got to make him feel comfortable. So, you know, the job's on me to make sure I get him in a good spot. I don't want to bounce him around either because that's not fair to him.
Just in terms of this practice, 5 p.m. start, about 6 p.m. because of the charter time and on and on. How differently do you have to approach it?
Well, there's science to it. You know, like I think we went 50 minutes. It wasn't a long practice. You know, it wasn't very taxing. It was a little bit of system stuff, a little bit of skate. And then tomorrow we'll kind of probably tone it down a little bit, but more higher pace. But we have a science team that I ask them after coming off a week, what should you do? And you know, it's just not me just like throwing there's a plan to this thing. You know, we might even have a day off here in a couple of days. People might think I'm crazy. Oh, you just got a week off, but you just can't. You know, it's not cramming things in. You know, we're looking for the long haul here.
Generational talent.
Thanks for liking the video and subscribing.